We're back. We are trying to get back to regular episodes despite the very, very difficult situation that we have going on over here. For those of you who are just randomly stumbling across this podcast, so earlier this year, starting late summer, early fall, my 19-year-old daughter, who was a sophomore at Texas A&M, started having dizziness and some headaches. Her symptoms got worse as the school year started. And so we thought, obviously, it's migraines. It must be stress. This was her first semester as a double major. Obviously, it's stress. We did a CT scan just to rule things out. And as I said in a previous episode, this is going to ruin a lot of hypochondriacs' day, but the scan showed a tumor. That tumor turned out to be cancer. And that was October 2nd that we got the diagnosis. And she had a 10-hour brain surgery involving 4 neurosurgeons on October 6th. It's been a heck of a month over here. It's crazy, Caitlin, that we were living normal lives in September. Yeah. It was like life was normal. I was like, we need to get Leanne into this migraine clinic because she's having some migraine issues. But it's like this has all been in October. So I am here to give you guys some updates. This is the most unplanned episode I have ever done. I have notes of things I want to talk about. There is no way that any of these things go together, but I love you guys and I want to keep you updated. So this will be a hodgepodge, a real hodgepodge of what's new and what's going on. For those of you who are new here, welcome to the Jen Fulwiler Show. Normally, this is the podcast where you learn the art of the village hustle. That's being a hot girl boss who knows that love and family and community are the foundations of all true success. And normally, we publish new episodes every Wednesday morning. That has not been happening in October for obvious reasons, but I am trying to get back to it because this podcast is something I really enjoy. I love the community around this podcast. I love reading your comments on YouTube. People leave a lot of comments. We publish this podcast there. And so it's good for my mental health to do this podcast. And so I think, fingers crossed, we should be able to get back to regular Wednesday episodes. And why wouldn't we? My luck has been so great. Yeah. Everything has been working out in our favor. What would stop me from being able to do regular Wednesday episodes? Caitlin White is our lovely producer. So let's jump right into it. Speaking of YouTube, you can see in the background. Do you see all this mess in the background of this studio? And if you're listening on audio, there's a link in the show notes that will take you directly to this episode. So you can pull up this episode. It's available free, whatever. So in the background, you see some pillows. I think, what is that? I guess it's a basket of laundry. That is because, so my daughter Leanne is home right now after she recovered in the hospital. And then, okay. So sorry, it's a lot, guys. So we live in Austin. Leanne is being treated at MD Anderson in Houston. It's about 3 hours away. It's about a 3-hour drive. So there's been a lot of back and forth from Austin to Houston. That is one of the big things that's taking up a lot of my time. But so Leanne is back now before we return to Houston. The first week of November, we will return to Houston and she will do daily radiation and chemo. More on that later. So we're in a little bit of a lull right now where we're back home and we're just awaiting the next big steps. So Leanne's original room that, she'd been off at college. She had to obviously withdraw from her classes, but so the room that she came home to, though, when she came to visit was upstairs. So we have, I'll give you an update on her state in a second, but suffice it to say she cannot walk on her own because of the brain surgery. So she needs to have downstairs accommodations. So this podcast studio, we have various people sleeping in it. I'll spare you the details, but there is a deflated air mattress at my feet. This chaos that you see behind me in the studio is the best we could do. There's no other place to put this stuff. We are overflowing with just stuff and everything that we need to manage this situation. And people are now sleeping in my podcast studio. So they get to just like stare at the at the Jen Fulwiler Show logo. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's Joe, sometimes it's one of the other kids. But so Caitlin and I were going to try to stuff all this stuff somewhere else. And then we were like, no, let's bring people into how it really is right now. It's pretty accurate of what life is like right now. So I don't know where to start with all the updates. So let's just jump into it, shall we? So where is Lane physically? So as it turns out, 10-hour brain surgeries that involve 4 neurosurgeons are kind of a big deal. They take a while to recover from. She cannot walk on her own. She still her eyes have not totally connected, so she kind of blinks when she talks to you. One eye, kind of does its own thing sometimes. We expect that to resolve. It is just taking a while. And she is receiving home therapy at home. We have professionals come out and work with her, but so that it is a significant job to help her out, because when someone can't walk on their own, they need help doing everything. And I'm intentionally not going into a ton of detail here because, as I've said before, Lane is 19. My other 5 children are ages 12 to 21. Lane is the second oldest of 6. And all of these kids and all of their friends are on the internet. They all have access to this podcast and my social media and whatever. So, I wouldn't want to reveal something about some struggle that Lane is having, that, she has some crush from college who's pulling up my stuff to see how she's doing. Like, I don't want to share, crazy stuff. And again, that's my Patreon community has turned into like you guys being the extended family that I don't have. And that's where I can like kind of vent and share like adults speaking to adults. So here's how I'm feeling, whatever. And if Lane is listening, I don't mean Lane, like, oh, we got some test results, but you'll have to join the Patreon to find out what they are. Patreon.com/thisisjen. It's not that. It's just, as I said in the previous episode, when your kid is going through a crisis, you just speak about how you are handling it and your thoughts on things differently when you are speaking privately to fellow parents, as opposed to if you're in the same room with your kid. Everything I say publicly on the podcast and on my social media, I'm in the same room with my kids, so to speak. So thank you so much to everyone who has been part of the Patreon. Like I said, it's actually really not even a financial thing. The financial tsunami we are facing the Patreon is lovely, but it probably would be a drop in the bucket. It's really more about having that barrier to entry, so that, like the local bully from junior high isn't going to like borrow their mom's credit card to join the Patreon, Okay, so Lane does have like some other issues we're helping her with, but I'm just not publicly going to detail all of that. So let's talk test results. You guys know I've been waiting for these test results. I thought that we would have them a week after brain surgery. That was October 6th. Misset expectations. My expectations were misset on that. And I'm not mad at anyone. This team is great. It's just I just didn't know. So the type of cancer that this is, the tumor is cancerous. It's called medulloblastoma. And that's, all of these terms, they sound scary, right? I mean, that's because it is. But so medulloblastoma has a wide variety of enthusiasm levels. Another thing we have established is I like to watch our words. I don't like the word aggressive because I think it's like a scary word and it makes it sound like, oh, this is some, scary thing. And, I like the word enthusiastic. And instead of, like, has it spread? It's like, is it curious? So medulloblastoma, depending on the group that it is in, it has different levels of enthusiasm and curiosity. And there are quite a few, but basically there are 6 levels that it was possible that it could be. There are a couple that we could rule out. We knew immediately it wasn't those. And honestly, at this point, I forget why, but there was something about its behavior that we knew it was not a couple of them. So that narrowed it down to 6. And I'm oversimplifying here. If I have any brain cancer researchers, hey, email Caitlin at thejfshow.com and, don't like criticize me in the YouTube comments. Come help me, email me. So yes, I am oversimplifying, but so there are 6 different combo group types that it could be, ranked from the easiest to treat, and then all the way up to, like, if you get to 6th on the list, that's a real F it, we ball diagnosis. I was saying that in the last episode. Sorry. Caitlin's trying not to laugh. No, you have to laugh because we're monitoring our nervous systems, and laughter is good for the nervous system. Also, Lane is very funny, as we'll talk about in a minute. So Lane appreciates laughter as well. Yeah, that's how, and when we were waiting for results, I told the kids there is a scale from let's go to LFG, let's freaking go, to F it, we ball, all on the end. The clinical F it, we ball diagnosis would be highly aggressive, poor prognosis. It's these drama queens. They just have all these language, but I call that the F it, we ball diagnosis. So there are 6 levels from let's go and then all the way up to F it, we ball. So we have some test results back, because what's going on in my life is that I'm in a game show in hell where information is being dripped out to us in the most torturous and painful possible ways. So we still don't know which one of the 6 possibilities it is. But what we do know is it is not one of the easiest 3. Unfortunately, those have been ruled out. The ones that are in the let's go mild LFG range, they are fairly easy to treat. I mean, it's always cancer, but like they're pretty easy to treat. So those have been ruled out. So now the question is it, LFG with a couple exclamation points behind it, or is it just straight up F it, we ball? And we don't know. We don't know, because the Lord is like, Jen needs to learn patience. We knew what this was, or at least that, it was a tumor and it was bad on October 2nd. What's today's date? We're recording this on Saturday, October 25th. So that's 23 days of knowing that a diagnosis is coming, but not knowing what it is. I'm doing certain things to help keep my mind off of it that are somewhat helpful. One is just remembering, like, God is outside of time. God knows the diagnosis. And God gives grace for the situation, not the imagination. It's a cliche, but it's a cliche that rhymes. So that it's good. And it's really true. God gives grace for the situation, not the imagination. So it's like, I'm not getting grace for the worst possible diagnosis because we don't know if that's what it is. Like that's just speculation. Maybe it will be more in the LFG with a couple exclamation points range. We don't know. God gives grace for the situation, not the imagination. So just that, and prayer, and really hoping that my archenemy has heard about this and feels terrible. Was it, Caitlin, was it the last episode before the bottom fell out of my life? I think that was it was either episode 270 or 271. where I said there was this individual who just came at me for no reason. I was minding my own business. If you've ever seen like a saint's card where it's like a painting of a saint and they're praying and there's a halo around them and it's all like they're just minding their own business. That was me in this situation. And then this person just came out of the blue to be aggressive and hostile to me. And this was before the diagnosis. So that's another thing that I put my mental energy towards. It's prayer and hoping that my archenemy has since heard about this and is like, I'm actually the worst person in the world. I am the worst person in the world. I am an enemy of God. I'm an enemy of all that is good. And I will spend the rest of my life in repentance and wearing sackcloth and ashes. So we all have our coping mechanisms, and that is mine. So I'm recording this on a Saturday and we're trying to get back to the Wednesday release schedule. So we might have those results in, by the time this is published. So I don't even know what to say about that. Can you imagine waiting that long? I mean,
no.
Well, and especially so the surgery was October 6th. I thought we'd have this information 1 week afterwards. So that would be October 13th. So this is a long wait. So anyway, that's like, and it's just so frustrating that it is clinically confirmed that it's not one of the 3 easiest ones. Like that's done. It's off the table. So whatever. Well, like, what can you say, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to, if anyone is like, are there spiritual forces, you know, guiding it? Because can we remember when my face was paralyzed? You guys, that was this year.
Whew. That
was the same calendar year. Like, and then if you're like, I don't know, maybe crazy spiritual forces are not targeting Jen's family. I don't know. Well, okay. Let's submit this into the evidence. So last Monday, from when you guys are hearing this, not this past Monday, but the one before, I did a round trip to Houston in one day, I think, or whatever. But Lane and I came back from Houston that day. And she had, I guess this one, that's when she got her stitches out. She got her stitches out from the brain surgery. And so I got home and Joe and I were just talking, and you know, Joe is always a real mental rock. I've known this man for 24 years now, and he's pretty unflustered by any crisis, but this one's kind of got him. Like he's struggling more than I've actually ever seen him struggle with a crisis, which I guess your kid having brain cancer will do that. So maybe that's not too surprising. So anyway, so we just sat together on Monday evening and we said, you know, it's hard right now. It's hard financially. It's hard, you know, administratively dealing with the insurance. And I had just got back from Houston. I'm usually the one doing the Houston trips because Joe's managing paperwork, insurance, paying bills, stuff like that. And we took a moment to say, you know what, at this point, we have to be grateful for just a quiet, simple evening when we get one. We just have to enjoy the quiet stillness of this Monday night and relax in that. Do you remember what happened?
No.
See, this is how crazy my life is that Caitlin's not calling it to mind. So as like an hour after we said that, there was this bang, 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 bang on our door, like the SWAT team. And then the doorbell repeatedly rings. We go outside. Our neighbor is screaming. Actually, Joe went. I didn't see this part with my own. Joe went outside first because we're like, is someone, you know, have the stalkers finally, you know, my crazy Catholics like, you're praying to the wrong saint. You know, I mean, we didn't know. Joe goes outside he smells smoke. Our neighbor Isaac, he's a neighbor across the street, is screaming. Our next door neighbor's house is in flames. Whew. I don't mean a house somewhere in our neighborhood. I don't mean a house on my street, down the street. I mean our next door neighbor's house was on fire. And our other neighbor, Isaac, I mean, thank God, he was sitting outside. He likes to sit on his porch to watch sports. And it was Monday night. So it was Monday Night Football. And so he was sitting outside, and he actually didn't see it at first, but he heard it because there was a plastic window in their bathroom. I guess plastic pops and make a loud sound because the way his house is positioned, he can't really see this neighbor's house. But he was like, what is that? I keep hearing that popping. Also, I'm telling you, crazy spiritual forces are afoot right now. There were also people setting off fireworks for Diwali. Had nothing to do with this fire. But there were popping sounds from the fireworks. So he waited a second because he thought, oh, is that, what is this popping that I'm hearing? Is that more fireworks? He walks over. Thank God he was outside. And the house is on fire. And my neighbor's husband was at work. He works nights. She and her little girl were in there. The fire was in an upstairs bathroom. They have a house that's fairly big by our neighborhood standards. And so they were in a different part of the house downstairs. This was in a bathroom upstairs. So she heard a vague popping sound, but again, there were fireworks that night. So she was kind of ignoring it. And this is terrifying. They were about to go to sleep. To go to sleep. So Isaac, I love Isaac. He always goes around and like fixes things for people in the neighborhood. It's just at no charge. He'll like redo someone's transmission. It's crazy. Like he recently fixed all of our kids' bike tires and inflated them. So he's just like our neighborhood guardian angel. And so the reason he banged on our door is he knew it would take. Obviously he called 911, but in the meantime, he was trying to get Joe to grab our hose because he had grabbed the neighbor's garden hose and was starting to put it out. But because it was on the second floor, it was kind of hard to reach. And so he was having Joe get our hose so that we could get it started. And so then look, I have a video. If you're like, there's no way. There's no way.
Well,
again, direct link goes to YouTube. Look at this. Look at this video. So this is 7 fire trucks. 7 fire trucks in front of our house because for our neighbor's house. And I don't know. There might be like identifying information in that video, but like, who would stalk me at this point? They'd be like, man, I want to get away from that juju, the like the evil vibes that are going on. Like, no, they'd be like, I want to know where Jen Fulwiler lives so I can stay away from it. We've got kid with cancer, house on fire. Oh, and Isaac's wife is in the hospital. Please pray for her. Yes, I'm sorry. Caitlin's like finding out. Like he's a mutual friend of ours. Like, yeah, Caitlin, Isaac's wife is in the hospital. Please pray for her. Yeah. So now everyone's trying to find out where I live so that they can stay away from it. And literally Joe and I had been like, it's good to have a quiet evening. It's just nice to have a quiet evening. And then neighbor's house literally on fire.
Insane.
They are all okay. My neighbor was obviously very upset, but then she walked over and was like, hey, I just thought you guys needed a distraction right now. So, I set my house on fire to help you guys. I was like, honestly, thank you. I haven't thought about cancer in like a while. This is amazing. So what little public service announcement. She had a candle by her bathtub and she just thought, oh, nice ambiance, I'll leave it on. It's in the bathroom, that's pretty. So you know how a lot of bathrooms have those kind of frosted windows so that you can't see in? She thought the window was made of glass. As you do, it looks like it's made of glass. Nay, it's made of plastic, flammable plastic.
What?
Right. What builder does that? Everyone has candles by their bathtub.
Yeah.
Turns out a lot of that stuff that you think is glass is not, and it's flammable. So that's what caught on fire. And I mean, it's kind of a blessing in disguise that it was that and not the wall, because that plastic popping is what Isaac heard. So as it is, their bathroom is like gone. I mean, that part of the house that's going to be some really significant repairs, but I think it would have been much, much worse if the plastic hadn't been popping like that, because that's what got Isaac's attention. Also, the fact that it was a Monday Night Football, that's why he was outside. So I don't even know what to tell you about what's going on this street, but I do think you should probably avoid it. Yeah. Caitlin used to live on this street and she moved. And she's probably like, honestly, that's like probably that was one of my better ideas. And just so you know, because I know if you're surprised that I'm finding anything to laugh at, here's why. This is when you are in a long-term crisis that has no signs of letting up. You have to make it your new normal, and you have to find ways to relax your nervous system and live a somewhat normal life, and just do things that add lightness and levity to your life wherever you can. Because think about it, from a pure physiological perspective, if you stay devastated and terrified and in crisis mode for days and then weeks and then months at a time, that is not good for you physically. And I am well aware in this situation that, you know, I am the mother of this family, and my mood impacts everyone, probably more than anyone's mood. And I feel like I have an obligation as a mother to find lightness and levity and just keep myself in a relaxed nervous system state wherever possible, because it is not good for Lane's health if she is, you know, just seeing her mom be stressed out and worried and upset all the time. Like, how is that helping her? How is that going to lead us to a better outcome? It's not. So I am really working on just accepting the landscape for what it is. And just saying, okay, well, this is we're about that brain cancer life now. You know, I didn't choose the brain cancer life. The brain cancer life chose me. I mean, how many podcasts do you get Catholic wisdom and rapper quotes? And I mean, how is it free? So that's why you'll hear me kind of making jokes and laughing, because I actually think it's a critical part of recovery. And as you know, since we don't have some of these test results back and we don't know what kind of FFWE ball level we might be looking at, I've spent a lot of time thinking, like, what gives us every chance? Like, what gives, like, the little things, the things that tweak and like improve your odds 0.5% of just great recovery. Like, this is a distant memory in 10 years. You know, we're all laughing at it. Hey, remember the time you had stage 3 brain cancer? Like, and I really do think that having a lightness and a humor is actually a pretty significant piece of the puzzle. Also, Lane herself is hilarious. Caitlin, pull up these screenshots. Lane, and I got her permission to share this. She's been doing these funny, just pull up all 4 if you can. And it's fine if you have to cover my face a little bit. Again, there's a direct link to YouTube here where you can see this. It's all free. So this is these are Lane's Instagram statuses. Is this not my kid? She does an Instagram status that says, well, at least my lore is more interesting. So that was the one when we found out it's not one of the easier ones. That's her take. She's like, well, this is giving me some incredible lore. She also, when she got the medulloblastoma diagnosis, just cover my face, Caitlin, whatever. Okay. She writes medulloblastoma with a silly emoji. See the keyboard part? You can scoot that down. We don't need the keyboard in the screen. Yeah, scoot there. Okay. And And so then she writes, "It's brain surgery time," with a silly emoji as she was being wheeled into a 10-hour brain surgery. I don't know what my Instagram status update would be if I were being wheeled into a 10-hour brain surgery. I do know that it would be memorable, and it would not be that. It would have a different tone. I am so impressed with her. It's crazy that she can write these, I just don't, 10-hour brain surgery for neurosurgeons. And she's like, "It's brain surgery time," silly emoji. And then on the bottom, she wrote, so I don't even know what my kids' astrological signs are, but evidently she's a Cancer. And she writes, "I can finally say I'm a Cancer with cancer." And she attached to it the song. You can add songs to your status updates. She attached DJ Khaled's classic ditty, "All I Do Is Win." I mean, if that's not the most Fulwiler thing I've ever seen. And so when you see me kind of laughing about things, it's like, well, she is too. I mean, this is just who we are. So another thing, and you'll probably hear me talking about this a lot, is we've had so many kids over, like we did the other night, and at least one of Caitlin's kids was a part of this. We had 7 friends spending the night. So with my 5 kids who are home, because now Lane's home, but we still have one at college. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah. So we had 12 kids in our small little space, and it was, kids running in and out. There was one point I saw a car pull up, 2 kids who looked to be about 12, my youngest, my son's age. They jump out and run in the house. I didn't know who they were. I didn't even ask. I was like, okay, whatever. And I went back to what I was doing. And I told them, I said, I can't do food. I can't set up places for you guys to sleep. Again, this air mattress that is now in my studio, I was like, we're using the air mattress. I don't know what you guys are going to sleep on. You are all welcome to be here. But this is like on those survival shows where it's like, can he survive on the mountaintop with only 1 bag of peanuts or whatever? It's like, you're in it now because like, can you survive with all the 12 kids in a house and the mom will not help with anything at all because she's really overwhelmed. And there's like a disabled person battling brain cancer in the house. I mean, so we found out they all did a great job. And a couple people commented, they said, why would you do that? Why would you add stress to your life? And again, as I think about what gives us the absolute best chance of full thriving, this is all a distant memory recovery. I really believe that when you're going through any kind of hard time, but maybe especially something like cancer, it's so important to stay in the flow of life. We talk a lot on this podcast about the culture of life, and we have a lot of new friends with us now, so I'll explain these terms. Pope John Paul II coined a term where he referred to a lot of the things that go on in modern culture as a culture of death, meaning, and at first I thought he used the word death kind of loosely, but the more I go on in life, I see where he was getting at it, what he was getting at. But basically, it's the culture of individualism. It's the culture of personal autonomy. It's the culture that says that the good way to be a parent is to have your house be a perfect museum all the time. Everything is perfectly tidy. There is no noise. Everyone has their perfect space. You make the perfect organic meals all the time. And again, it's literally like a museum. But the thing about museums is that everything in them is dead. When you have any kind of space that is full of life, it's neighbors, it's people from church, it's your extended family. If you've ever been to a Mexican party, and I've been to many of them, it's like that. Have you ever been to a quinceañera? I mean,
no, but
you are missing out. It is like, it's like 28 uncles and 27 aunts and like all of these cousins and all of these kids. And it's the most wonderful chaos. It's so good for the soul. And that's culture of life. But yeah, they're messy. They're loud. They're chaotic. Sometimes someone gets in a fist fight in the corner. I mean, you see this in really all Catholic cultures. This is the same Irish culture, this is Italian culture. I mean, you get all these people together, and it's not to say it's perfect all the time. It's certainly not to say it's clean and neat and tidy, but it's life. And that's what the flow of life looks like. It's loud and it's messy, and that's what life looks like. And again, for those of you who are new friends here, I grew up very much in that culture of death mentality. I am an only child. My dad was an only child. We did not live near my mom's family, so it was just the three of us, our little family. My house was perfectly quiet all the time. I had my own space, didn't have to share with anyone. And in the 80s, everyone was like, yeah, that's how you're supposed to raise your kids. That's an incredible way to live. And listen, my parents are amazing. My mom is like, the work that she is doing for us right now cannot be overstated. So I want to be clear, not criticizing my parents in any way. That was the culture back then. But it's not a culture of messiness and loudness and life. So as we had all these kids running around, and Lane was like kind of propped in her little chair in the living room watching everything, I just thought, this is so good for her. This is so good for her to be around, all these younger kids. Most of them were, actually all of them were younger than she is. And my son and his little 12-year-old buddies, and then the younger teenage girls who were there with my other daughters and people, and they would all run up to her, and like the boys would show her something like, look, I got a semi-automatic Nerf, this and that, and the next time we do a trench war, it's going to be amazing. And then the girls would come up and show Lane their new, whatever eyelashes, the fake lashes that they got. And it was so good and so healing. And whenever you're in a crisis, there is a temptation to go into hyper control mode. And in order to have perfect control over everything, you need to isolate. You need to isolate to have perfect control. I did not have perfect control over my house that night. I will tell you that. And but that's really not what you should do, at least not over the long term in a crisis. Yes, there are days where you have to kick everyone out and get your act together. Yeah, of course. But it's not a long-term strategy. And in fact, having those moments where you can surround whoever it is that's having a hard time, surround them with the happy chaos and mess that comes with just life and love and being around other people. It's so good for them. So I am so glad that we did that, and that we had that we had all those kids over. So okay, I told you this is going to be random. Another thing, it's so interesting to walk around MD Anderson because it's a cancer center. So everyone there who is not a staff member is battling cancer of some type. And so I like to think of it as a university. Notice how I'm reframing this whole experience. I'm like, it's like a university. We're all, interested in different areas. Like, oh, we're brain. Are you gallbladder? Okay, so I actually ran into someone who follows the podcast, and she was like, yeah, we're here for gallbladder cancer. I didn't think you could get cancer in the gall. Like, what? And then someone else like, oh, are you colon? We're brain. Yeah. But there is a kind of sense of community and camaraderie, and it is almost like a university feeling to it, that things are happening, things are moving forward. We have researchers here, and we're all together in the same fight. It is depressing though that, not a lot of 19-year-olds there. So I do have moments where it feels astoundingly unfair that I am pushing around in a wheelchair my daughter, who was once a very thriving college student, and now she's being pushed around in a wheelchair at a cancer center. So I try to keep my mind away from that and more on the positive side of things. I do a lot of reframing that, like, because if God forbid you ever have a medical diagnosis, there's all these scary words. Like, look at, I'll have Caitlin put this up. This is a screenshot from my chart. I'm just like showing medical records now. Where's the diagnosis? Okay, what does that say? It says intraoperative evaluation, brain mass, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it says high grade malignant tumor. Differential diagnosis includes medulloblastoma. But see, okay, I don't want to see that anymore. High grade malignant tumor. You'll be hit with a lot of scary words. So again, I'm actually finding it really helpful to just recategorize all these words. Like, oh, high grade, it's just enthusiastic. It just loves what it does, it enjoys its job, and it wants to do more of it. And I mentioned in the previous episode, unfortunately, it has spread, but we're just calling that, enthusiastic. It's curious. That's right. It's curious. And so we think of MD Anderson. It's a different type of university. So we're here at our university. Everyone has different specialties, and we're just trying to figure out how to get rid of this enthusiastic and curious, thing that we're dealing with. And I'm telling you, it does actually relax my nervous system to speak in those terms instead of using all the scary words that the doctors use. So another thing I'm learning is trust your gut instinct. The doctors and every single person we know, told us to have Leanne go to inpatient rehab at a very, very famous inpatient place in Houston by MD Anderson. And like everyone was like, you're crazy if you don't do this. And so that inpatient obviously means she would be living there. So that would mean like she's not home right now. They wanted her to go straight from brain surgery to inpatient rehab and then straight into chemo and radiation. So that she could be stronger because, again, she can't walk very well. But she said, look, I'm an adult and I'm actually going to decline it. Like, you guys can't make me go. I don't want to do that. And I think I'd do better at home. So when we were at one of our pre-radiation trips to Houston this week, we went and toured it I said, look, let's understand, as Joe would say, the universe of options. Let's just know all the options on the table. So we will tour this place. What a comedy of errors that was. Okay. So first of all, we pull up and I was all excited because we have a handicap parking tag now, and there are like 30 handicap spaces and they're all full. I'm like, oh yeah, by definition, everyone here is handicapped. So like we had to park way at the back. I mean, no parking for us. And so we go in, and I'm so grateful that this place exists, but they deal with some pretty intense cases. And so, there was one young man, he seemed very nice. He was smiling at us. And, but he had both of his feet were in casts. And he just, he looked really beat up, and Leanne was like, okay, we need name tags in this that says your name and what you're in for. Like, why are you here? And she's like, I would happily put stage 3, medulloblastoma, like whatever. I'd happily put brain cancer on a name tag if everyone else would say what they're in for too. Cause we're just like, how did this happen? Like, this is like a young guy, and so we go through, one of the things they didn't mention was their shared rooms. Oh. Yeah. They didn't mention that when they were trying to push her into going. And I don't mean push. I love these people. I'm not accusing them of, giving us bad advice or anything. Everyone is trying to help, and I so appreciate them. But yeah, they didn't mention it's shared rooms. And again, Leanne is like a triathlete compared to a lot of people who are in this place. So you're going to have a roommate there who's like really not doing well, in terms of physical abilities at all. And then it was like, they're like, yeah, Leanne would be in the neuro ward. And they said, it's high security. You kind of can't get out that easily because some of our patients, like, they don't know where they are. Oh. And so they try to break out. And there were these signs everywhere that basically warned the staff that they think someone is trying to break out today. Yeah. And it was also like 9 out of 10 of the patients there were men for some reason. I saw one woman on the whole tour. And I want to emphasize, I've heard that this place works miracles, and I believe it. And I think it is so, so good for people who have certain very serious, degenerative type of physical conditions. But when I imagined Leanne being there, she'd be one of the few girls, she can walk with a walker a little bit, with a little bit of help. Like, I don't think she's in their category of need. And like having a shared hotel room and, alerts going off that someone's trying to break out. I was like, man, your gut instinct really came through here. Like this was the right call. So another little lesson to just take a look at things before you sign up for things. Again, everyone there was so kind. The staff was wonderful, and I would absolutely utilize that place if we ever had like a serious injury or degenerative condition. But we were just kind of laughing. Like, yeah, I think Leanne needs a lot of things right now, but I think that particular inpatient treatment at that particular place was not one of them. I have another funny aside okay. So new listeners might not know that I guess, was it January of 2024 or February of 2024 that the whole blood clot thing?
That was January.
No, not of this year, because
last year.
January of this year was face paralysis.
Yeah.
So I mean, seriously, guys, stay away from my street. There's something in the water. I don't know whether some Wiccan, put a curse on me or something. And by the way, I do take spiritual attack very seriously. I'm talking to my priest friends about it. I'm actually not even joking about that. But so I had a medical issue that kind of escalated. It seems very silly and easy now, but that was February of 2024. You can go back and listen to those episodes. Long story short, I'm not allowed to go within 100 feet of a certain medical practice. Why? Because of cancel culture? Because people can't take a joke?
Oh, boy.
Okay, so here's the funny postscript. That place is an oncology center. I wasn't there for oncology for cancer, but that's what they are. How funny would it be if they referred Leanne to that? And I'm like, okay,
Surprise.
I can't take her to treatment there. And they're like, wait, why? Like, it's cancel
Long
culture,
story.
Yeah, it's like, because people don't appreciate mirth, because people don't appreciate humor. So yeah, gosh, that would just be so funny if they, I mean, not that I'd let her be treated there, but, I thought of it. I was like, oh my gosh, because they could at some point say, okay, she's past needing care in Houston. We're trying to help you guys out. We'll find you a place in Austin. There is a very real chance that they will try to refer her there, and I won't be able to take her because I'm banned. Oh, that was amazing. When that FedEx return receipt, whatever thing showed up on my door, that was a real day. So, if you're a new listener, there's really a lot to catch up on.
Yeah.
Because it was a few months after that, I got dropped by my agent and manager on the same day. There's never a dull
Just
moment.
go back to like 20.
There's no, I mean, how is this podcast free? Just from the endless drama.
Yeah, for real.
And you could say, I know that someone could say, I mean, a lot of this is Jen bringing this into her life. Like, this is, this doesn't happen to normal people because they don't make crazy decisions. I agree. But I did not manifest brain cancer. Like, that wasn't me. The face paralysis, yeah, I was messing around with cosmetic stuff. Okay, but most people don't have that happen, okay?
Yeah.
Getting dropped by agent and manager, probably on me. I think that was actually on me. Well, okay, getting banned, but I feel like I was pushed to express myself. Did I have to say it on the podcast? Did I have to publish that podcast episode? Did I have to clip that particular part and put it on Instagram? Did I have to make it my pinned post? Okay, so maybe to some extent, I am self-aware enough to know that I bring a certain amount of chaos into my life. But my neighbor's house being on fire, what did I have to do with that? I'm sure my haters are like, yeah, but where was she during that
Who
time?
lit the
Does she
candle?
have an alibi? Okay. Here's one little nice thing. Jim Gaffigan had a show in Austin a couple days ago, and he personally invited me to come out. How sweet is that? And so we have a picture. Caitlin came with me, and a couple of my other kids came with me. Lane is, so there's me and Jim. That was so nice. I really appreciate it. Lane she doesn't like big events like that anyway. And we are new to the handicapped lifestyle. And we thought maybe I should not try to be maneuvering her wheelchair around, bumping into things, whatever, is at a big show. So it was just me and Caitlin and a couple of my other kids went. I will say, if Lane would have felt left out, if that were the kind of thing she would like to go to, I mean, it depends on if I thought I'd get stage time. But let's, but Lane was fine with not going. And Jim did not offer me stage time. Don't you think I didn't have 10 minutes in my back pocket? Because listen, it doesn't help Lane for me to like not be prepared if Jim was like, do you want to open the show? You want to do 10 minutes? But how does it help my daughter if I don't have that 10 minutes ready? It doesn't. So did I have a set list in my head? I did. Actually, I did. So next time, Jim, next time. But that was really sweet. And by the way, and I'm not just saying that because he gave us a bunch of free tickets and met with us afterwards and he was so kind. When he was talking about Lane, I actually thought he was going to cry. I mean, did you see, he was genuinely like broken up about it when he was talking about it. So I'm not just saying this because he was so kind on so many different levels, but I am very familiar with his material. I think this is his best set yet. So if he is coming to your town, I really recommend getting tickets. Sometimes it's a pain, to go out to these big shows. Like, that's why I don't do these massive theaters. I just do like the smaller comedy club. It's like easier to park, And I'm like, no, we can't let this show be sold out because then it would be harder to park. So I think the room should be like half full because then there's more seats for everyone. And that's my philosophy. But Jim prefers, these big theaters. And I will say it's worth it. Like this, I think this is his best hour yet. It is hysterical. Mm-hmm. It's so good. So if you see him coming to your city, seriously, get tickets. This one is worth it. What else do we have? So Lane's doing chemo and radiation. People are like, are you going to shave your head in solidarity?
Are you?
Let's not get, there's no need to add drama to that. How does that help Lane? Nervous system relaxation. That's what we're all about. I don't think it would help my nervous system to shave my head. So I just think I'm just doing what's best for Lane. I don't think, let's not, you guys can shave your heads. The radiation, I've actually saved this one for towards the end because, this is the hardest one. Well, not really, but in terms of visceral, immediate emotional reaction, I struggle with this one. The radiation oncologist said there could be a chance, we don't know what percentage, but there could be a chance of permanent hair loss. Put up a picture of Lane. Caitlin, this is her natural, what?
Any of them?
Well, let's do the one of her as a baby. So again, you can click through to YouTube. She is a natural redhead, as you can see from this adorable baby picture. Mm-hmm. That's a cute baby. Yeah. Come on.
So happy.
Come on. And that cute little red hair. People would stop me in stores. The closest thing I will ever get to being a celebrity before the Comedy Millions come in is when I would take that baby out in public. People just lost their minds. And then now show a picture of her now, her hair, the one where she's like looking down, because that really shows her hair color. You'd never believe this. Yeah, that one. You'd never believe this is her natural color, this beautiful red. Oddly enough, this has been almost a bigger test of faith for me than cancer itself. And here's why. It's so rare to have that natural hair color. It's just that's a weird genetic combo that doesn't often happen. To have this, again, she has never dyed her hair. This is her natural color that you see on YouTube. And it's rare for a 19-year-old to get cancer. So how rare is it to have this beautiful, beautiful hair, one, to get cancer at age 19, two, and then to get one of the very, very, very few types of cancer where they have to irradiate your whole freaking head. And that's what would potentially cause permanent hair loss, that they have to zap her entire brain. That was a hard conversation for me with the radiologist. Is that what they're called? No, radiation. It's radiation oncology.
Oh.
The guy that zaps things. That's him. We don't know for sure, but with everything else, I have felt some sense of like, we have a plan. We have a plan. I'm talking to researchers. I'm talking to doctors. I am keeping myself posted, and so is Joe, on like, what are the cutting edge clinical trials? Like, what, I mean, with fighting the enthusiastic and curious little thing that we have here itself, there's this sense of like, you know, you don't want to be in the Fulwiler's crosshairs because we're enthusiastic and we're curious. Like, you want to talk about aggressive? We're aggressive. So I've felt this sense of, man, you ain't never seen anybody fight until you see the Fulwilers fight for one of their kids. Like, I had seen nothing. But with the hair loss, it's like, there's nothing to fight. There's no, it's just going to happen or it's not. And there's nothing you can do about it. And, you know, cosmically, like, this sounds very shallow, and I probably shouldn't even say this publicly, but it's like, it feels personal. It's like, what are the odds to get a kid with this incredible, beautiful hair, and that they'd get cancer to begin with, but then they'd get one of the very few types of cancer that the treatment of which could potentially cause permanent hair loss. And if anyone is going to leave a comment saying, you know, if that happens, you should just be grateful they're treating the cancer. Read the room. Yeah. It's not the time. Don't say that. Doesn't mean it's not true. Don't say it. It makes me see how people lose faith. I'm not saying I will. Don't worry. This is not going to be, I think, you know, when I had that conversation with the radiation oncologist, I see how people could worry that this could be an Uno reverse card for me and Faith. Like that, but don't worry, I'm fine. I'll probably be fine. Like, just keep praying for me. But you know what's interesting? I wouldn't go back to atheism because it feels too personal. It would be like, I think the Greek gods, or like, I think the ancient Greeks had it right, that they're like 6 or 7, you know, divine powers up on some mountain, and 5 of them have a personal beef with my family. Like, they don't like us, and they're constantly just being mischievous in my life, and I can't control these people. And that, like, I see how you could drift into that belief system, because it's so astoundingly rare that all of these stars could potentially align. Anyway, I hope that's not too much honesty for you guys, but that's kind of where I was when I heard that could happen. It's like, there's no way. There's no way. I knew I shouldn't have put that on my gratitude journal. I think at some point I was like, you know, that's cool, you know, to have a kid that has this Irish look, like red hair. That's neat. That's so cool. And when she was a baby, it was so cool. Like, one time at our doctor's office, there's a group of nurses, and they're all Filipina, and you know, they have this wonderful village type culture. Put the baby picture back up. And when I was in the waiting room, the nurse came to call someone else, and she saw this redheaded baby. She's like, "Oh, give me that baby." She took Lane back. It wasn't Lane's appointment. She just took her from me. And she's showing all the other nurses, and they're like, "Oh, this redheaded baby." They were passing her around. All of the nurses. They didn't invite me back. I'm in the waiting room like, do you guys have my baby? And it was so cute and so funny the way they passed her around, all the nurses. They are pediatric nurses. They deal with babies all day, every day. And they'd never seen a baby with this unbelievably beautiful hair. And so, it's that's just always been, I think it's cool for her, and it's just cool. And, yeah, you can take the picture down. I think I had been mentally handling all of this pretty well until that conversation. And that was like, oh, pushing me too far. We're getting pushed a little far in this situation. Stage 3 cancer. We're fighting, but the specter of permanent hair loss was when that's when my struggle got a little. It was just like the straw that broke the camel's back, So I will be moving the rest of my thoughts on this to Patreon because, like I said, what it is? Most people don't listen to the end of the podcast, so I'm hoping if my kids' friends from school listen to this episode, they didn't make it this far. This is probably more than I would say publicly in the future. I don't know. I might not bring it up again publicly. Again, that's what the Patreon. These are the kind of things that I wrestle with that normally I share over there because, again, the 14-year-old at school who likes to talk trash is not going to borrow a credit card to pay the small fee, to be part of Patreon. And if they are, that is a level of dedication that they deserve to know. But yeah, that's that one is, I'm struggling with that one. But again, the platitude that I mentioned earlier, God gives grace for the situation, not the imagination. We have not even started radiation yet. So what's next? Just looking at my notes here. Yeah, I will try not to get banned from any more doctor's offices now that, we kind of need them now in a more urgent way. Hopefully no more houses catch on fire in this neighborhood. And I'm going to try to get back to weekly podcast posting because I am able to read almost all of your comments on YouTube. I can't always engage because I'm so busy right now. It's honestly crazy. I mean, it's every hour is some new crisis, some new. I was going to say some new fire that I'm putting out, but that's literally. So I apologize that I can't really respond usually, but I do read them, and just know that when you leave a comment, I am probably smiling at it, and I really appreciate it. So on YouTube, I have my own personal account that doesn't have a channel or anything. That's just where I watch my videos, and so I can make playlists that are, people aren't like, why did you make that? It's just my private account. But because it doesn't have a channel, I can't like and respond to comments from it. So that's why a lot of times I can't even like your comments because I'm on my personal account, but I read them, and I really appreciate them, and I am reminding myself, it's so trite, but it is true. God gives grace for the situation, not the imagination. I often repeat the phrase to myself these days. I'm like, radical present moment, radical present moment, radical present moment. And what that means is all I think about is like, what do I need to do right now? What is in front of me? What are some good things that are in front of me? What's something funny that has happened, or some joke I could make about the situation, or what's a good thing? Like with Caitlin and her kids coming over, I DoorDashed some barbecue. Some people blessed us with DoorDash gift certificates, which are great, and the food was great. So it's like radical present moment. I'm not going to think about the future. I'm not going to think about bad outcomes. I'm not going to think about scary words that doctors use. I am going to think about like, man, this barbecue is really good. It's really good. So that's where I am right now. Radical present moment. And yeah, even though I'm joking a lot on this podcast, I'm sure you guys can extrapolate. I'm sure you guys can read between the lines. It really is pretty hard. But I mean, genuinely, Lane and I are doing more laughing than we are crying because, honestly, everything's funny if you have the right perspective. So it's like I'll be wheeling her around, knocking her into things, and we're both like laughing. But it is hard. So we do need your prayers. Don't forget, we're asking for the intercession of Our Lady of Champion. That's the only approved Marian apparition. It's up in Wisconsin in Green Bay. So it's formerly called Our Lady of Good Help. So and we also, so that's what the Catholics can do. We also accept regular prayers. We're even accepting Protestant prayers. We'll do it, and hippie vibes and atheist thoughts. We are taking them all right now. So thank you very much for all of that. And hopefully, what could go wrong?
Let's not
hopefully we'll be back to a regular posting schedule. But probably next week it'll be like a meteor hit our house. So we can't, no episode this week. But I would like to, because I'll be in Houston a lot, but I am switching off. I think we'll do I'll do a week and my mom will do a week, something like that. So I think I will be back in Austin enough that Caitlin and I can get together and do the show. So thank you guys so much for being with me. If you would like to see my more, talking to fellow parents and adults updates on Patreon, that is patreon.com/thisisjen. Yes, there is a GoFundMe, no pressure. I'm only putting it in the show notes to save Caitlin time. Kind people will reach out. She has a lot of emails to reply to right now. So I'll just say, there's a GoFundMe if you want to support, it's there, but zero pressure. None. I'm only sharing it so that people know. So yeah, pray for us. I'm recording this on Saturday, October 25th. This coming week, we'll be home. And then I think on Sunday, November 2nd, I think that's a Sunday. Is that? Yeah, whatever. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. Around then, that's when Leanne and I will move to Houston. I think we have our housing figured out. And that's good. That's a blessing. I'll probably say more on that later. Well, actually on the Patreon, I did talk about it on the Patreon, and I think it's nailed down, but you can actually see a picture of where I think we'll be staying on the Patreon. So yeah, Sunday, November 2nd, we temporarily moved to Houston, but I'll be back quite a bit because again, my mom is super helpful and my husband will be, down there as well. So that's where we are. This was definitely a very hodgepodge update. If you have made it through to the end, congratulations. You have a great attention span, and I'm very impressed. And also, sincerely, thank you guys. This community surrounding just this podcast and my tours and all that is, it's really wonderful. And you guys are really great people. And comedy clubs often comment on that. They always say, your fans are the nicest. Like, these are the nicest people we've ever had showing up to these shows. So it's not just me. I have empirical data that you guys are really great people. Like, third parties have commented on this. It'd be kind of fun if I did like a little show in Houston at the Riot or something. Actually. Since I'll be down there, yeah. Why not? Also, okay, wait, I'm saying, boy, is this like not organized. Some of you guys know Shane Smith, the face tattoo comedian who converted to Catholicism. He and I are talking about getting together to do a fundraiser show. And I think that would be a lot of fun. And so we're trying to decide what city to do it in. I know Zany's Nashville would host. I'm sure Cap City in Austin would host. I'm sure the Riot in Houston would host. So yeah, I'll have to think about it, but I think that would be a lot of fun to do a fundraiser show. So yeah, Shane Smith and I might be collaborating on that. And okay, seriously, that's it for this episode. Pray for me. This is hard. And hopefully, unless, a tornado sweeps us all away, we'll be back next week. Oh, you can hit the exit music. We'll be back next week. Oh, and now I need to fill time while the music plays. My bad. In the year of our Lord, 2025, on November 4th, we will hopefully have a new episode. Unless I am carried off by mischievous elves.
November 5th.
November 5th. Bye.